global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Global Happiness Today YouTube channel. You will agree with me that for a while now, ever since Peter Obi emerged as the flag bearer of a Labour Party, he have decided to become the trailblazer, always being the first to achieve, always being the first to announce, always being the first to dare, always being the first to grant interviews and changing the narrative ever since this electionary period began. Yes, it is election period. The campaign have started in earnest, and Peter Obi again is the first to release his manifesto. Just like we always say, he leads, others follow. And I guess most of other parties, both ruling and the main opposition party, probably want to get one or two and learn one or two from his manifestos, maybe just to tweak theirs. I wouldn't know. But let's find out really what makes this very rich manifesto eye-catching to the point that Nigerians are reacting to his manifesto. A lot of questions have been asked. He keeps mentioning how it's going to change Nigeria from a consuming nation to a productive nation. How? How would it tackle the issue of security and all that? Well, he mentioned all that and much more in his manifesto. We're going to go through all that, but before we do that, kindly subscribe to our channel by clicking on the right subscribe button. Beside it, you see about notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as you update our channel on YouTube. For want of poor audio quality, we may be reading the manifesto so you would understand word for word what he said. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, has promised to restructure Nigeria's security architecture for better performance if elected president after next February's poll. The former governor of Anambra State made this objective known when he released his manifesto, the manifesto titled Prospect of Transformative Governance in Nigeria. He promised, among several things, to arrest the deteriorating state of the nation's insecurity. Insecurity in the country has taken a dangerous dimension as banditry, insurgents in the northeast and southeast of the country, farmer-herder clashes, and unabated kidnapping of unarmed citizens and civilians take center stage on the highways in the country. The manifesto also assures of rebuilding Nigerians' military power, promoting economic growth, and enhancing its technological powers with a view to improving Nigerians' diplomatic influence in sub-regional, regional, and global affairs. The manifesto also emphasizes the challenge of high youth unemployment in Nigeria and promised that Labour Party administration will pursue the national youth strength with a view to curbing the trend. It also emphasizes zero tolerance for corruption, blockage of leakages, and cutting the cost of governance, with avowed commitment to transparency and accountability in government business. The Labour Party presidential candidate manifesto also promises that Labour Party administration will prioritize production-centered growth for food security and export, securing and uniting Nigeria, leapfrogging Nigeria from oil to the fourth industrial revolution as 4IR, while expanding physical infrastructure through market-driven reforms as well as initiate development that empowers competitiveness and robust foreign policy that restores Nigeria's strategic relevance. According to the manifesto, we will tweak the security architecture, which will entail reform of the security sector and governance. We will restructure, re-equip, and reorientate the Nigerian police. This will include three-level policing: federal, state, and community. We will build a compact, robust, and ready mobile police force with rapid response deployment capabilities and legislate the establishment of state police based on community. Our administration will pursue a properly manned, equipped, and technologically driven security system with particular emphasis on refocusing the military on external threats and border protection, and police on internal security threats, and law enforcement, swift prosecution of criminals, bandits, and terrorists, enhanced coordination among security agencies, and upholding the rule of law. We are challenged by high youth unemployment, which stands at 54% for the youth and 20 million out of school children. We must give this country back to the Nigerian youth. Half of our 200 million people are below the age of 30. Harnessing our national youth strength and demographic dividends intelligently must start with curbing the high youth unemployment, creating funding accessible to enable our youth to become entrepreneurs and drivers of our small and medium-scale enterprises, SMEs, it emphasizes. As part of our monetary policy, we will seek to re-establish the independence of CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and commit to a credible and transparent plan to normalize the exchange rate and bring inflation to single digits. We will remove import and forex restrictions and insist on a single forex market. The current system penalizes exporters who bring in forex by forcing them to sell at a rate that they are unable to source for forex when they need to purchase forex. This multiple exchange rate regime encourages capital flight and deters investment, which has further worsened Nigerian forex situation. We are spending more on recurrent expenses, and we are borrowing frivolously. I am not against loans per se, but we must stop borrowing for consumption. All loans must be invested in regenerative projects. We must operate within available resources and strive for a balanced national budget as cost-saving measures, ending the leakages, including subsidy regime, and improving our tax regime should do this magic. The manifesto adds, and I quote, "We shall ensure that in moving Nigeria forward, no state or community will be left behind. Pursuant to its statutory responsibility to protect, our government will promote equity in power and resource sharing. The federating unit will enjoy discernible autonomy. Resources will also be shared equitably. A higher derivation paid to oil or solid mineral producing states will not be tantamount to other states not receiving federal allocations. That should keep them viable. We must transcend the rhetoric that bedevils a robust debate on some of these national questions. We will respect the principles of federal character, affirmative action, and gender balance, but no longer at the expense of merit." Wow. Talk about rich and robust manifesto. You will agree with me that he actually considered everything and everyone and the available resources within Nigeria into place. He brought them all into fiction, blocking all the leakages of course, that one should be number 2 after security. Block those places where these guys are using to steal money. It's too much. Can you imagine that Tombolo, the one they gave the work to protect the oil pipelines in Niger Delta, have discovered so many pipelines leading to private owners. Nigeria is fantastically corrupt, unfortunately. And that's where to go. We hope that we pray also that those benefiting from this corrupt system will not hinder us from getting Peter Obi, who seem to be, really interested in getting Nigeria back to track. It's up to all of us. My vote, your vote, our vote count, and we should come out on that day to make it count. Let's go wrap it up. Let's put in the comment section. What's your take on this robust manifesto?